The blue planet Ket-7 was dying. From his crystal tower, Elder Silex watched black smoke rise from the burning cities below. His long, thin fingers shook as he held the communication device. The Villani had never seen war before. They did not know how to fight. "Please help us," Silex whispered into the transmitter. His voice carried across space to the Galactic Council station. "The Brutox are coming again. It will kill us all." The Brutox were not like the gentle Villani. Were big, strong, and loved to fight. Their ships were dark metal monsters covered in weapons. They came to Kef-7 because they wanted the quantum crystals that grew naturally on the planet. These crystals were worth more than gold in the galaxy. The Villani had tried to give the crystals to the Brutox. They hoped this would make them go away. But the Brutox wanted everything. They wanted the planet too. It burned the crystal gardens and smashed the beautiful cities. They laughed when the Villani ran away. On the council station, Admiral Temin sat in his office, reading reports. He was a human from Earth. His people had joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago. Most aliens still thought humans were young and stupid. They gave humans the boring jobs like moving cargo and fixing broken machines. The emergency call came through on Temin's screen. He saw Elder Silix's scared face. The old alien's blue skin was pale with fear. His large eyes were wet with tears. "Admiral, the Brutox have taken 3 more cities," Silix said. "Our people are hiding in the mountains. We have no weapons. Do not know how to fight. Please, the Council must help us." Temin felt angry. The Villani were peaceful people. They grew beautiful crystal gardens and made music that could make you cry. They'd never hurt anyone. The Brutox were bullies who took what they wanted by force. "I will call the council meeting right away," Temin promised. "We'll find a way to help you." But Temin knew the truth. Their council races would not want to fight the Brutox. They would talk and argue and do nothing useful. The Villani would die while the council made speeches. The council meeting started 2 hours later. The big meeting room was full of different alien species. The Etherians looked like tall, thin ghosts. They spoke in quiet voices, and always wanted to think more before doing anything. The Khalari were bug-like creatures who shared one mind. They moved together like a hive. The Neptari lived in water tanks and had to use special suits to breathe air. "The Brutox situation is difficult," said High Counselor Vextar, an Etherian. "We must be careful not to make them angry. If we fight them, they might attack our worlds too." The Khalari agree, buzzed the bug-like aliens. "Violence creates more violence. We should try to talk to the Brutox first." Temin stood up. "Well, we talk. The Villani are dying. The Brutox have already destroyed half their planet. They will not stop until everyone is dead." The Neptari representative spoke through her water suit. "Humans always want to fight. This is why your species is still younger. War is not the answer to everything." "Then what is your answer?" Temin asked. "Send them flowers. Ask them nicely to stop." The council argued for hours. The Etherians wanted to send a diplomatic team to talk to the Brutox, the Khalari suggested. Economic sanctions. The Neptari proposed setting up refugee camps for the Villani survivors. Nobody wanted to actually fight the Brutox. They were too dangerous. Their ships were too strong. Their warriors were too fierce. It was easier to let the Villani die than risk their own people. Temin left the meeting feeling sick. He walked back to his office and sat down. On his screen, he could see news reports from Keth-7. The Brutox had burned another city. Thousands of Villani were dead. He opened a secure channel to Earth. The face of Captain Nari appeared on his screen. She was young for a human military officer, with short, black hair and cold, dark eyes. She commanded a special unit in the Colonial Defense Force. "Admiral, what do you need?" Nari asked. "The Villani are being wiped out by Brutox raiders," Temin explained. "The Council will not act. They are too afraid." Nares's face showed no emotion. "And you want us to help?" "I cannot order it officially. The Council has not approved military action. But if a small team happened to be in the area..." "I understand," Nari said. How many Brutox are we talking about? Intelligence reports say 3 fleets, maybe 30 ships total. They've been attacking for 2 months. Nari nodded. Can handle that. We'll need detailed information about their weapons and tactics. I will send everything we have, Taman said, but be careful. The other council races think humans are not ready for real combat. They see us as useful workers, not warriors. Let them think that. Nari smiled. It was not a nice smile. It makes our job easier. The transmission ended. Taman sat back in his chair. He had just made a decision that could change everything. The council thought humans were weak and peaceful. They had no idea what Captain Nari and her team could. Dudot on Kef 7, Elder Silex waited in his crystal tower. The Brutok ships were coming back. Their dark shapes moved across the sky like storm clouds. Soon they would attack again. Soon more of his people would die. But help was coming. The humans were coming. Silex did not know what that really meant. He thought the humans would send diplomats and peacekeepers. He thought they would try to negotiate with the Brutoks. The Villani had studied human history. They knew humans had wars on their planet long ago. That was in the past. Humans were part of the council now. They were civilized. They were peaceful. Silex had no idea that he had just called the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. Thought he was asking for help. He did not know he was about to unleash something that would change the balance of power forever. The Brutoks were coming to finish what they started. But the humans were coming too. And when they arrived, the Villani would learn that some kinds of help come with a price that is worse than the original problem. The stars continued to shine over Ket 7, but darkness was coming from 2 directions now. The Brutoks brought the darkness of destruction. The humans brought something else entirely, something that the galaxy was not ready for. The human ship arrived at Kef 7 3 days later. Elder Silex watched it land near his crystal tower. The ship was small and white, with smooth curves. It looked peaceful. There were no big weapons on the outside, no scary metal spikes like Brutok ships had. Thank the stars, Silex whispered. They sent diplomats. Captain Nari stepped out of the ship first. She wore a simple blue uniform with no armor. Behind her came 4 other humans. They carried small bags and looked like scientists or teachers. The Villani felt hopeful for the first time in months. I'm Captain Nari, she said through the translator device. We came as fast as we could. We are here to help. Silex bowed deeply. Thank you for coming. We asked the council for military help, but peaceful consultation is better. We do not want more violence. Nari smiled. Of course. We believe in peaceful solutions too. The other humans introduced themselves. Minji was a botanist who studied plants. She seemed very interested in the crystal gardens. Hosang was a language expert who wanted to learn more about Villani culture. Do-Yun was an engineer who asked many questions about their technology. The last 2 humans seemed different. Jinho was quiet and had sharp eyes that never stopped moving. He said he was a surveyor who made maps. Sulji was friendly and loud. She said she studied geology and wanted to see the crystal mines. We will give you anything you need, Silex said. Please, tell us how to make the Brutoks go away without fighting. First, we need to understand the situation, Nari said. You show us where the Brutoks attack from? Silex led them to the top of his tower. From there, they could see the whole valley. Smoke still rose from the burned cities. The crystal gardens were broken and black. In the distance, Brutok ships moved like dark insects. They come from the north, Silex explained. They land here and here. He pointed to 2 hills. Then they march down and destroy everything. Tried to hide, but they always find us. Jinho took out a small device and held it up to his eye. He looked at the hills for a long time. How many ships do they usually bring? 10 or 12, Silex said. Sometimes more. They are very big and full of weapons. What kind of weapons? Do-Yen asked. Silex looked confused. I do not know. We do not understand weapons. They shoot fire and make loud noises. Our people fall down and do not get up. Sulji walked to the edge of the tower. She looked down at the valley below. Where do they keep their ships when they are not attacking? In the caves on the north side, Silex said. We can show you if you want. That would be very helpful. Nari said. Over the next 2 days, the humans asked many questions. They wanted to know everything about the Brutox. How many there were, when they attacked, what they did with the crystals, where they went when they left. Minji spent hours in the crystal gardens. She said she was studying how the crystals grew. She took small samples and put them in bottles. She also picked up pieces of broken Brutok equipment from the last attack. Very interesting, she said, holding up a piece of twisted metal. This is from their weapons. I want to understand how it works. Hosong talked to many Villani survivors, said he was learning their language better. But he also asked about Brutok speech patterns. He wanted to know what the Brutok said when they attacked. They shout a lot, one survivor told him. Day! Say words like crush and burn and die. They laugh when we run away. Do they use any communication devices? Hosong asked.
Yes.
They have small boxes that make noise.
Yes.
The leaders talk into them and give orders. Doyan examined the damaged buildings. He said he was trying to understand Villani construction methods. But he spent more time looking at the damage than at the undamaged parts. Interesting, he said, looking at a collapsed wall. The Brutox use explosive charges here and here. They know exactly where to place them for maximum effect. Jinho disappeared for hours at a time, said he was making maps of the area. When he came back, he always had new questions about Brutok patrol routes and guard positions. For peaceful consultation, we need to know how they move, he explained. This helps us understand their thinking.
Yes.
Sulji spent time near the crystal mines. She said she was studying the geology of the area. But she also measured distances and drew detailed diagrams of the caves where the Brutox kept their ships. Fascinating. Rock formations, she said. Very unstable. One small earthquake could cause a complete collapse. The Villani were happy to help. They thought the humans were very thorough. Unlike other council races, the humans did not just sit in meetings and talk. They went out and studied the actual problem. They are so smart, Silex told his assistant. They want to understand everything before they make a plan. This is much better than just sending soldiers. But some Villani started to feel worried. The humans asked strange questions. They wanted to know about Brutok weaknesses. They studied their weapons and their ships. They mapped their bases and their patrol routes. Why do they need to know how? To hurt the Brutox? One Villani asked. I thought they were here to talk to them. They're being careful, Silex said. They want to know everything so they can negotiate from a position of strength. This is very wise. On the third day, the humans had a private meeting in their ship. The Villani could not hear what they said, but they saw the humans looking at maps and screens. They saw them pointing at different locations and nodding. When the humans came out, they seemed different. More focused, more ready. We have enough information now, Nari announced. We understand the situation completely. Wonderful, Silex said. What is your plan? How will you convince the Brutox to leave us alone? Nari smiled. It was the same smile she had given Admiral Taman. Do not worry. We will solve your Brutok problem very soon. But how? Silex asked. What will you say to them? We will speak their language, Jinho said quietly. You learned Brutok's speech already? Silex was amazed. Hosong is truly gifted. Humans looked at each other. Something passed between them, understanding that the Villani did not see. Yes, Nari said. We will speak their language perfectly. That night, the humans worked late in their ship. Strange lights flickered through the windows. The Villani heard mechanical sounds and electronic beeping. They thought the humans were preparing translation equipment for their meeting with the Brutox. They had no idea that the humans were preparing something very different. Something that would change everything. The next morning, Brutok ships appeared on the horizon. 12 dark vessels moving toward the valley. The Villani ran to their hiding places in the mountains. They had done this many times before. But this time, the humans did not run. They stood calmly and watched the ships approach. They did not look scared. They looked ready. What are you doing, Silex? Called from his hiding place. You must hide. The Brutox will kill you. No, Nari said calmly. They will not. The Brutok ships landed in their usual spots. Warriors poured out, carrying weapons and shouting their war cries. They marched toward the crystal gardens, ready to burn and destroy. They had no idea that this time would be different. This time, the prey had called in their own predators. The humans stood and waited. Their consultation was about to begin. The Brutok warriors marched down the hill toward the crystal gardens. They were huge creatures, twice as tall as humans. Their skin was dark green and covered in scars. They carried big weapons that shot fire and made the ground shake. "Burn everything," roared their leader, a massive Brutok named Grax. "Take all the crystals, kill anything that moves," the other Brutok shouted and laughed. They had done this many times before. The weak Villani always ran and hid. It was easy. It was fun. But today, something was different. 5 small figures stood in the middle of the crystal garden. They did not run. They did not hide. They just waited. "What are those?" Grax pointed at the humans. "New slaves?" "They look weak," said another Brutok warrior. "This will be quick." Humans stood very still. Captain Nari was in the middle. Jinho was on her left. Sulji was on her right. Minji and Doyan were behind them. They looked calm. Too calm? You.
X
Shouted at the humans.
Run away or we will kill you!
Nari stepped forward. "We need to talk." The Brutoks laughed. "Talk? We do not talk. We take what we want." "I know," Nari said. "That is why we are here." Grax looked confused. "What do you mean? The Villani asked us to solve their Brutok problem?" Nari explained. "So we are going to solve it." The Brutoks laughed harder. You are tiny. You have no weapons. You will solve nothing." Nari smiled. "We will see." She pressed a button on her wrist. Suddenly, the small white ship behind them began to change. Parts of it moved and shifted. Hidden panels opened. Big weapons came out of the sides. The peaceful diplomatic ship was really a warship in disguise. The Brutok stopped laughing. Eyes grew wide. "What is that?" Grax demanded. "That is our consultation tool," Nari said. The ship's weapons turned toward the Brutok ships in the caves. Red lights appeared on their hulls. Targeting systems had locked on. Impossible. Grax shouted, "Those ships are hidden. You cannot see them." "We have been watching you for 3 days," Jinho said quietly. "We know where everything is." Grax raised his weapon. "Then you will die first." He pulled the trigger. A bolt of energy shot toward Nari, but she was not there anymore. She had moved faster than the Brutoks thought possible. The energy bolt hit empty air. Nari was now behind Grax. She held a small device in her hand. It looked like a simple tool, but when she pressed it against the Brutok's armor, electricity sparked. Grax screamed and fell down. "How did you move?" "So fast?" another Brutok warrior asked. "We learned from watching you," Nari said. "You are strong, but you are slow. You are loud, but you do not think." The other Brutoks raised their weapons, but Jinho was already moving. He held a long, thin stick in his hands. When he pointed it at the Brutoks, they started falling down. One by one, they dropped their weapons and collapsed. "What is he doing?" Grax asked from the ground. "Jinho is a very good shot," Nari explained. "He has been studying you for 3 days. He knows exactly where to hit you to make you sleep." More Brutoks came running from the ships. Dozens of them. They thought their numbers would help them win. They were wrong. Sulji pressed buttons on her device. Suddenly, the ground under the Brutok ships began to shake. The cave walls started to crack. The geology expert had placed charges in exactly the right spots. "The caves are collapsing," a Brutok screamed. "Yes," Sulji said happily. "I studied the rock formations. It's very unstable. One small push and everything falls down." The Brutok ships tried to take off, but it was too late. Tons of rock fell on them. The ships were crushed like eggs. The Brutok's way home was gone. "You destroyed our ships," Grax shouted. "We solved your transportation problem," Doyan said. "Now you cannot leave to attack other planets." Minji walked up to the remaining Brutoks. She held small bottles in her hands. "I have something for you," she said. She threw the bottles at the Brutoks. They broke and released a green gas. The Brutox breathed it in and immediately became sick. They fell to their knees, unable to fight. "What did you do to us?" Grax demanded. "I studied your biology," Minji said. "I learned what makes you strong. Then I made something to make you weak. It's very simple botany." The Brutox tried to call for help on their communication devices. But the devices only made static noises. Osong smiled and held up a small box. "I have been listening to your communications for 3 days," he said. "I learned your language. I learned your codes. Now I control your radios. You cannot do this." Grax shouted, "We are warriors. We are strong." "You were strong," Nari corrected, "but you made a mistake. You attacked people who asked us for help." "The Villani wanted us to talk to you," Jinho said. "So we are talking. This is not talking," Grax protested. "This is how humans talk to bullies," Sulji said. The human ship's weapons fired. Not at the Brutox, but at their remaining equipment. Every weapon, every vehicle, every piece of technology was destroyed in seconds. The Brutox were left with nothing. "You said you take what you want," Nari said. "Well, we want you to stop taking things. So we are making you stop." From his hiding place, Elder Silex watched in amazement. Had defeated the Brutox in minutes. Not with big armies or huge weapons, but with intelligence and planning. "Incredible," he whispered. They solved the problem without killing anyone. But his happiness began to change to worry. The humans were very good at this. Too good. They had turned the Brutox from hunters into prey in just a few minutes. "What happens now?" Grax asked. The big Brutox leader looked small and scared. "Now you leave," Nari said. "You walk away from this planet. You never come back. You'll never attack the Villani again. But how will we get home? You destroyed our ships. That is your problem now." Doyan said, "Maybe you should have thought about that before you started burning cities." "You cannot leave us here," Grax pleaded. "We will die." "The Villani were dying too," Minji said. "You did not care about that." "This is not right," Grax shouted. "You are supposed to be peaceful. The council races do not fight like this." Nari looked at him coldly. "We are not like the other council races. What are you?" Grax asked. "We are humans," Nari said. "We are the people you should never have threatened." The Brutox began to walk away. They had no weapons, no ships, no supplies. They were stranded on a planet far from home. Some of them were crying. "Wait," Hosong called out. "You forgot something." He threw a small device at Grax's feet. "This is a beacon. It will call for help if you need it. But remember, if you use it to bring more Brutox here, we will be waiting." The Brutox picked up the device and continued walking. They disappeared into the hills, broken and defeated. The Villani came out of their hiding places. They ran to the humans, cheering and celebrating. "You did it," Silex said. "You solved the problem? You made them leave without killing them?" Nari said, "We solved your Brutox problem." But something in her voice made Silex feel cold. The way she said solved sounded too final, too permanent. "Will they come back?" he asked. Nari looked at the beacon in the distance. "If they do, we will solve that problem too." Silex realized that the humans had not just defeated the Brutox, they had completely destroyed them as a threat. And they had done it so easily that it scared him. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You saved us." "You asked for help," Nari said. "We helped." But as the humans walked back to their ship, Silex wondered if they had asked for the right kind of help. But something told him that the real changes were just beginning. The humans had solved the Brutox problem. But what problem had they created instead? 3 days passed after the Brutox walked away. Elder Silex thought the problem was over. The humans had won. The Villani were safe. Everything could go back to normal. He was wrong. Captain Nari came to see him in his crystal tower. She looked serious. Behind her walked Doyan, carrying a metal box. "Elder Silex," Nari said. "We need to talk." "Of course," Silex said happily. "I want to thank you again. You saved our people. When will you be going home?" "We are not going home yet," Nari said. "The job is not finished." Silex looked confused. "But the Brutox are gone. They walked away. They cannot hurt us anymore." "Those Brutox are gone," Nari said. "But there are more." "More?" Silex felt cold. What do you mean? Doyen opened his metal box. Inside were strange devices covered in lights and wires. I have been studying the equipment we captured, he said. I found something interesting. He showed Silex a small screen. On it were numbers and symbols. These are communication logs from the Brutok ships. They sent messages to their home planet. Every day. What did the messages say? Solix asked. They talked about how much they were taking from your planet, Hosung said, appearing in the doorway. They said Keth 7 was the best raid they had ever found. They were planning to bring more ships. Many more. Solix sat down heavily. How many more? According to these logs, at least 50 ships were coming, Doyan said, maybe 100. We're going to turn your planet into a permanent mining base. But they left, Silix said weakly. The ones who were here left. Yes, Nari said. But they will tell the others what happened. The Brutoks will come back with bigger fleets. They will be angry. They will want revenge. Then we will call the council, Silix said. We will ask for more help. The council will not help, Nari said. They are too afraid of the Brutoks. They will tell you to evacuate your planet. But this is our home, Silix said. We cannot leave. You do not have to leave, Nari said. We will fix this problem too. Something in her voice made Silix afraid. What do you mean? You mean we will make sure the Brutoks never come back? Ginho said. He had been standing silently by the window. Never. How can you do that? Silix asked. The same way we solved your first problem, Nari said, but bigger. Doyan showed Silix another screen. This one had a map of space. Red dots marked different star systems. These are the Brutok worlds, he said. 7 planets. 23 colonies. All of them send raiders to attack peaceful worlds. We are going to visit them, Sulji said, walking into the room. She looked happy. Too happy. Visit them, Silix asked. We are going to solve their raiding problem, Minji said, permanently. Silix understood. The humans were not just going to defend Keth 7, they were going to attack the Brutok homeworlds. They were going to war. No, he said. This is not what we wanted. We asked for help with the raiders here. We did not ask you to destroy their whole civilization. You asked us to solve your Brutok problem, Nari said. This is the only way to solve it completely. But this is wrong, Silix said. You will be killing millions of Brutoks, not just the raiders, all of them. They are all raiders, Jinho said coldly. Their whole culture is built on taking things from others. They will never stop until someone stops them. The council will not allow this, Silix said. They will stop you. The council cannot stop us, Nari said. They do not know what we are really capable of. What do you mean? Silix asked. Doyen smiled. Earth has been preparing for this day for 50 years. While the other council races thought we were weak, we were getting stronger. Much stronger. We'd let them think we were just good workers, Hosong said. We fixed their machines and moved their cargo. But we were also learning. We were studying their technology. We were preparing. Preparing for what? Solix felt sick. 4. The day when someone would need us to solve a problem like this, Nari said. The council races are too soft. They talk and argue, while bullies destroy innocent people. But humans are different. We act. You are talking about genocide, Silix said. You want to wipe out an entire species? We want to solve the problem, Sulji said. Forever, there has to be another way, Silix begged. Something that does not involve so much killing. There is no other way, Minji said. I studied Brutok biology. I read their history. They have been raiders for thousands of years. It is what they are. They cannot change. Everyone can change, Silix said. Jinho said. Some species are predators. They exist to hunt and kill. The only way to stop a predator is to remove it. You are predators too, Silix said quietly. I can see it now. You are just like them. We are not like them, Nari said. We do not attack innocent people. We protect them by destroying anyone who threatens them. Yes, Silix felt tears in his eyes. This is not protection. This is conquest. Call it what you want, Nari said, but your people will be safe. At what cost? Silix asked. That is not your problem, Nari said. You asked for help? We are helping. The next morning, more human. Ships arrived. It's not small diplomatic vessels like the first one. These were big warships with heavy weapons. They filled the sky above Keth 7. The Villani watched in fear as the ships landed. Hundreds of human soldiers came out. They wore black armor and carried weapons that looked like nightmares. What are they doing here? Silix asked Nari. They are the main force, she said. My team was just the advanced scouts. These are the real soldiers. Real soldiers for what? For the Brutok campaign, Nari said. We are going to visit every Brutok world. We are going to explain to them why raiding is wrong. If they do not listen, they will listen, Nari said, or they will not be able to raid anymore. The human soldiers began building a base near the Crystal Gardens. They worked fast and efficiently. In just 2 days, they had created a fortress with walls, weapons, and communication towers. This is supposed to be temporary, right? Silix asked. Nothing is temporary, Nari said. The Brutoks will send spies to check on you. They will try to attack again someday. We need to be here to stop them. For how long? For as long as it takes. Silix realized what was happening. The humans were not just solving the Brutok problem. They were taking over his planet. They were making it their base for their war. We did not agree to this, he said. You agreed when you asked for help, Nari said. This is what help looks like. I want you to leave, Silix said. We will find another way to deal with the Brutoks. There is no other way, Nari said, and we cannot leave. If we leave, the Brutoks will come back. They will kill everyone. Is that what you want? Felt trapped. The humans were right. Without them, the Brutoks would return and destroy everything. But with them, his people would never be free again. What have we done? He whispered. You called for help, Nari said. You got help? Be grateful. That night, Silix stood in his tower and looked at the human base. The lights were bright, and the soldiers moved like shadows. They were preparing for war. In the distance, he could hear the sounds of ships launching. The first wave of human warships was leaving to attack the Brutok homeworlds. Soon, the killing would begin. The Villani had asked for protection from raiders. Instead, they had invited in conquerors. The humans were solving the Brutok problem. They were creating a human problem instead, and this problem might be much worse than the original one. Silix closed his eyes and tried not to think about what was coming, but he knew that everything had changed. The gentle Villani had made a deal with predators. Predators always collected what they were owed. The humans were helping them. But the price of that help was their freedom, and it was too late to refuse to pay it. 6 months later, Elder Silix stood in his crystal tower and looked at a galaxy that had changed forever. The view from his window was very different now. Where once there had been beautiful crystal gardens, human military buildings stood like metal mountains. Soldiers in black armor patrolled the paths where Villani children used to play. The peaceful blue sky was filled with human warships coming and going. The Brutok problem was solved. Completely solved, the news came back from the human fleets piece by piece. The Brutok homeworld was gone, not destroyed by explosions, but emptied. The humans had used Minji's biological weapons to make the whole planet uninhabitable for Brutoks. They could not live there anymore. The Brutok colonies had surrendered without fighting. When they saw what happened to their homeworld, they gave up. Some Brutoks escaped to the edges of the galaxy, but most were captured and sent to prison worlds where they could never raid again. Problem solved, Captain Neri had said, when she gave Silix the final report. No more Brutok raiders will ever attack your people. But the cost was terrible. An entire species was gone. Millions of Brutoks were dead or homeless. Their civilization was finished. Was this really necessary? Silix had asked. It was efficient, Nari replied. Now no one will ever have a Brutok problem again. The other council races were horrified. They called emergency meetings. They demanded explanations. They threatened to remove Earth from the council. Admiral Temin came to Ket 7 to meet with the council representatives. The meeting was held in Silix's tower. The Etherian High Counselor Vexstar looked like a ghost. The Collery buzzed angrily. The Neptori representative could barely speak. "You have committed genocide," Vexstar said to Taman. "You have destroyed an entire species. This is against all council laws." "We solved a problem," Taman said calmly. "The Brutox were raiders. They attacked peaceful worlds. Someone had to stop them. We could have found another way," the Neptari said. "We could have negotiated." "You had 50 years to find another way," Taman replied. "How many peaceful worlds did the Brutox destroy while you were thinking?" "It does not justify what you did," the Collery buzzed. "You went too far." "Did we?" Taman asked. "The galaxy is safer now. The Brutox will never hurt anyone again. Is that not a good thing?" "You must leave Kethsavon," Vexstar demanded. "You must remove your military base and return to Earth." "No," Taman said simply. "No." The council representatives looked shocked. "The Volani asked for our help," Taman explained. "We are still helping them. If we leave, other raiders might come."
The Volani need our protection.
Silex wanted to protest. He wanted to say that the Volani could protect themselves now, but he knew it was not true. The humans had made sure of that. During the 6 months of human occupation, the Volani had changed. They no longer knew how to make important decisions. Whenever there was a problem, they asked the humans to solve it. When there was a disagreement, they asked the humans to decide. The humans always helped. They were very efficient at solving problems. But every solution made the Volani more dependent on them. "We can take care of ourselves," Silex said weakly. "Can you?" Nari asked. She showed him a screen with intelligence reports. 3 different pirate groups are moving toward this sector. They heard that Kef 7 has valuable crystals. They are coming to take what the Brutox left behind. "We will ask the council for help," Silex said. "The council is busy arguing about what we did to the Brutox," Nari said. "They will not send help in time. His pirates will be here in 2 weeks. "Then what do you suggest?" Silex asked, though he already knew the answer. "Let us handle it," Nari said. "We are already here. We are already protecting you. It makes sense." And so it continued. Each new threat made the humans more necessary. Each new problem proved that the Volani needed human protection. The other council races tried to help, sent diplomats and peacekeepers. But the humans were always faster, always more efficient, always more effective. "Why do you need the slow council process?" Taman asked the galaxy. "Humans can solve your problems right away." And slowly, other species began to agree. The Zenthari had trouble with space pirates. They called the humans for help. The humans solved the pirate problem in 3 days. They also built a base on the Zenthari homeworld to prevent future attacks. The Mokari were fighting a civil war. They asked the humans to mediate. The humans ended the war in a week. They also established a peacekeeping force to maintain order. The Quillen had a plague that was killing their people. Human doctors found a cure in days. They also built medical stations throughout Quillen space to monitor the population's health. Each time, the humans solved the problem completely. Each time, they stayed to prevent new problems. Each time, the species that asked for help found themselves under human protection. "This is not protection," Vexstar said during another council meeting. "This is conquest." "Is it?" Taman asked. "The species we help are safe. They are prosperous. They are happy. Is that not better than being dead? They are not free?" The Collery buzzed. "Freedom is overrated," Taman said. "Safety is more important." The council tried to resist. They passed laws against human expansion. They threatened economic sanctions. They demanded that Earth withdraw from occupied worlds, but it was too late. Half the galaxy was under human protection now. Those species supported Earth in the council. They voted against any action that might make the humans leave. "The humans saved us," said the Zenthari representative. "Why would we want them to go?" "They are keeping us safe," said the Mokari delegate. "The council never protected us like this. They cured our plague," said the Quillen ambassador. "We owe them everything." The balance of power in the council had shifted. Earth was no longer a junior member. It was the dominant force. Silex watched it all happen from his crystal tower. He saw species after species call for human help, saw them all make the same mistake he had made. They thought they were asking for assistance. They did not realize they were surrendering their independence. "Do you regret asking for our help?" Nari asked him one day. Silex thought for a long time before answering. My people are alive, he said finally. The Brutox would have killed us all. Yes, they would have, Nari agreed. But we are not free anymore, Silex said. We cannot make our own choices. We cannot solve our own problems. We have become children who need humans to take care of them. Is that so bad? Nari asked. Children are safe. Children are protected. Children do not have to worry about dangerous things. Children grow up, Silex said. When will you let us grow up? Nari smiled. It was the same cold smile she had given so many times before. When you no longer need us, she said. And when will that be? Never, Nari said simply. There will always be another threat, another problem, another reason why you need human protection. Silex understood. That had been the plan all along. The humans had not come to help the galaxy. They had come to rule it. They were very good at it. They made ruling look like helping, made conquest look like protection, made slavery look like safety. And the worst part was that they were right. The species under human protection were safer. They were more prosperous, were happier, but they were not free. Silex turned away from the window. Outside, human ships filled the sky. Human soldiers walked the paths. Human voices echoed through the crystal gardens. The Villani had asked for help with the Brutox. They had gotten help. The Brutox were gone forever. But in their place, something else had come. Something that would never leave. Something that would protect them whether they wanted protection or not. The humans had solved their problem. But they had become a much bigger problem themselves. And unlike the Brutox, there was no one left to call for help against the humans. The galaxy belonged to Earth now, and Earth took very good care of its property.